everyone. Today I wanted to talk about becoming an editor. Since my last editor talk video, many of you wanted to know how I became an editor. You messaged me, you left me wonderful comments, and I decided to make a video about it. Before I jump into advice, before we get started, I just want to point out again that I do not work for a publishing company. I'm a freelance book editor who works primarily with independent authors in my free time, like on the evenings and weekends. And I work full-time at a marketing company. So if you have questions about how to land your dream job at a publishing house, I won't be able to help you with that. So yes, I'm a client content editor at a marketing company, so the work I do by day is very, very different from my freelance editing projects. That said, launching my freelance editing business kind of landed me the job that I have now. It started out as a freelance job. And so I am forever thankful that I started freelancing. So now that that's out of the way, let's talk specifically about book editing. My first piece of advice is to know experts. Make yourself known, join associations, attend local meetup groups, email people, communicate in forums, network. I hate the word as much as you do, but it's so very important. If you want to lift that veil and see what's underneath, if you really want to know what goes on in the world of book editing, you have to just talk to people who are doing it. And you really should talk to people who have been doing it for a long time, who have valuable advice to give you. The best thing I ever did in my freelance career was join associations. I joined, and I know that this changes depending on where you are and what you have access to. I joined the Christian Pen, the Christian Proofreaders and Editors Network. I joined the Editorial Freelancers Association, and I'm an associate member for the Society of Children's Book Writers and Illustrators. These are just a few of the associations that I kind of went after when I first started. And honestly, they've made all the difference. When you join associations, you not only get to meet with experts and kind of pick their brain on how to get started, but you kind of soak in all of this valuable knowledge through the forums. A lot of times there are private job boards that you can look into, and if you're a member for an association, you can contact that person directly about a specific project, and it's very exclusive. Now, joining associations is not always free, but usually it's a small annual fee, and it is worth it because you can find projects through those associations. Not always, but sometimes you can. And the knowledge that you walk away with is so invaluable. But I know that not everyone can join these associations and pay these fees. So look for scholarships. There are associations out there that have scholarships. If you're a student, look for discounted rates. And it's always worth it to reach out to these associations and see if they have any discounts going on, see if there are group rates that you can join in on. Ask around. Do your research. But yeah, it really was the best thing I've ever done. I found so many projects through some of these associations, and honestly, it is a small fee, but if you budget it in, it is so worth it. My second piece of advice kind of goes hand in hand with joining associations and networking, and that is continued education. If you're like me, you either have a bachelor's degree in English literature or you are pursuing one. But honestly, and this might shatter your world a little bit, but having an English degree is not the only thing that you need. And sometimes you don't even need one. I know plenty of editors out there who specialize in different fields. And honestly, I had professors in school who have said, English majors are great, but if you really want to write or edit, specialize. Go in the direction where you can really be an expert in the field and you can be knowledgeable. That said, I believe getting an English degree or journalism or something equivalent is going to only help you. What I learned after college through some continued education courses were probably more valuable to me than some of the classes I took in college. I took developmental editing classes. I took proofreading classes, intro to copy editing 2. I took a class called The Business of Developmental Editing that taught me how to write invoices, how to do a sample edit, how to give a proper quote or work estimate. There's just so many things that you have to learn by asking people and kind of just jumping in head first. And all of those classes were so specific to the different types of editing, because if you're interested in editing, you probably know that there are so many different levels of editing, and you wear different lenses for each project. If you're editing a manuscript that just needs polishing, then you're wearing your proofreader glasses. If you are editing a manuscript that has a lot of plot holes, or it's in early stage or early draft, then you're probably doing more developmental editing. And honing in on these different skills and taking classes for those different levels of editing is really, really helpful. I'm gonna leave down below some of the classes that I've taken, some of the associations that I've joined, and hopefully they'll be a resource to you. Again, they're not cheap, and I acknowledge this. This is not possible for everyone. But I will say it's so invaluable. If you really want to make it as an editor, you have to put the time in. You have to budget and put money into these resources that are going to give you so much more in the long run. My third piece of advice is this: know the Chicago Manual of Style like the back of your hand. Maybe not like the back of your hand, but at least know where to look when you have a question. The Chicago Manual of Style is really intimidating, all right? This is like a beast. Look at it. What? There are classes out there that are geared just toward the Chicago Manual of Style. I haven't taken them. I really want to, because I nerd out about it. I have been accused of sleeping with this under my pillow. But really, I think it just comes down to just sitting down and getting familiar with it. Just flip through. Don't be intimidated. I have little tabs here. You probably can't see that, but I've separated little sections out that I tend to go to the most. These are different rules that I have to look up frequently with my editing projects, and that's why they're there. Becoming familiar with the Chicago Manual of Style is so important because it gives you the confidence to do your job well. Independent authors, even if they're pursuing self-publishing, they want to abide by this style guide. Knowing this book alone is so great, but there are some other resources out there that I plan to share with you guys in another video. I'm going to send along my favorite books on editing and writing, more geared toward editing probably. Some of the best resources that I've had over the years. So you can look forward to that in another editor talk video. But for now, those are my top 3 things for new editors or people who want to become editors, specifically book editing. But like I said, becoming a book editor helped me get to the job that I have today, which is a totally different kind of editing. So if you want to edit for a marketing company or any other kind of business, it's still all of those tips apply. So I hope this was helpful to you. Please feel free to leave a comment down below. If you're an editor, I'd love to know your tips. What would you say to people just starting out? What kind of advice would you give? And that's all I have for you. Thanks, bye.